This recording provides an overview for local governments on Senate Bill 23B-001. It will provide a summary of changes to budget deadlines, assessed value changes, and state backfill to local governments resulting from both Senate Bill 22-238 from the 2022 legislative session and Senate Bill 23B-001 from the recent special session. This is general information only. Please contact your local government's attorney for guidance for your entity's specific situation if possible. If legal advice is not available, please discuss this with your elected board. SB 23B-001 delays several property tax and local government budget law deadlines for the 2024 budget year. The Division of Local Government has an updated calendar available on its website under Budget Information and Resources. A link is included on the last slide of this presentation. County assessors' deadline to provide final certifications of value to local governments is typically December 10. Senate Bill 001 delayed this deadline for the 2023 property tax year to January 10 in order to give assessors time to make necessary assessed value changes. Some assessors have already sent out their final certifications of valuation. For the 2024 budget adoption, local governments that levy property taxes have until January 10, changed from December 15, to adopt the budget and certify the mill levy to the Board of County Commissioners. SB 1 did not change the deadline to file the budget with the Division of Local Government in DOLA. Please contact the division if you have questions or concerns about filing your budget document by January 31st. When final assessed values are certified by county assessors by January 3, local governments should be able to calculate their mill levy and property tax revenue, including the amount of a mill levy reduction if the governing board has adopted one. If a budget is not adopted by December 31st, the local government budget law in the Colorado Revised Statutes clarifies that a local government has 90% of the amount appropriated in the current fiscal year for operations and maintenance expenses for the next year. This helps ensure a local government has an appropriation so services can continue until the budget is adopted. SB 001 postponed the December 31st, 2023 date to January 10, 2024 for the 2024 budget year. Local governments concerned about the gap between December 31, 2023, when the 2023 budget year appropriation expires, and the new January 10, 2024 date should be considered adopting a 2024 budget and appropriation by December 31, 2023, and amending the budget later if needed. Please discuss your local government's specific situation with your attorney. Some local governments might rely on the assumption that 90% of 2023 operation and maintenance expenses are automatically appropriated after December 31 until they can adopt the 2024 budget. Some local governments will adopt a budget before December 31st and take additional budget action after the 2024 budget is finalized. Consider your local government's specific contractual obligations, debt, and other obligations, and consult your attorney if needed. Some local governments have already received their final certifications of valuation from the county assessor well ahead of the January 3 deadline and can adopt their 2024 final budget before the end of 2023. Because the exact state backfill amounts from SB 22-238 and/or SB 23B-001 will not be known until April 2024, local governments may need to amend their budgets for supplemental revenue from the backfill.
Now we'll move on to a quick discussion on assessed value changes. Senate Bill 238 reduced assessed values, and that included a reduction in the residential property assessment rate to 6.765%, and also a reduction adjustment of the first $15,000 on residential actual values. Local governments have already received their preliminary assessed values from their county assessors, probably sometime in October. That preliminary certification of valuation contained the reductions already implemented by Senate Bill 238. The special session bill, Senate Bill 1, further reduced the assessment rate on residential property to 6.7%. And it also further increased the actual value adjustment of residential properties from $15,000 to $55,000. The final certification of valuation will reflect assessed value reductions implemented by both 238 and the special session bill 230, special session bill SB1. In terms of the state backfill that local governments will receive in 2024, both SB 238 and SB 1 provide for reimbursement or backfill based on revenue reduction estimates calculated by the county assessor and also specific criteria from each bill. Assessors will be calculating how much SB 238 and SB 01 reduced local government's budget year 2024 property tax revenue based on the budget year 2023 mill levy, but excluding mills for bonds and contractual obligations. So local governments should view backfill for SB 238 reductions and SB 1 reductions separately. A local government may be eligible for SB 238 reduction backfill, but not SB 1 reduction backfill. So it's really important to maintain a distinction between these two state backfill provisions for 2024. So moving on to a little bit of the timeline of how this backfill will play out. After revenue reduction reporting is complete in March, and that'll be done by the county assessors, by April 15th, 2024, the state treasurer will issue backfill warrants to each county treasurer for entities in the county. Each county treasurer shall then distribute the total amount received by the state treasurer among the local governments within the county according to the eligibility criteria for the SB 238 backfill and also the SB 1 backfill. We have a little bit of an update on what assessors are working on right now. Basically, county assessors are now working to implement the changes from the special session bill, SB 1, and will certify the final assessed values to local governments by January 3rd at the latest. Local governments should expect a decrease in their final certification of value compared to the preliminary certification of value. Some assessors may be able to provide additional backfill estimate information to local governments, but it really depends on the county. So feel free to contact your assessor because they may have backfill estimation information on your local government to share, particularly if they've already gotten you your final certification of value, which is the current priority for them. So this concludes the webinar recording on the overview of SB 23B-001. Please contact the Division of Local Government if you have any questions. Thanks. Have a nice day.